Hello, I'm Adam Nettleship from Bigmore Associates, here today to talk briefly about profit taking from investments. How do we make an investment and when do we decide to cash in our profits? It's very easy to potentially make an investment, see some return, but how do you make your decision on when to take that money back out? And there's two key points. The first is when you make any investment, you need to think about what is the return you're trying to make and what is the time scale you're trying to make it over. If you don't have this idea when you start off, how can you make the decision at the end to determine when you should cash it in? So let's start simple idea, investing £100 into company XYZ. Company makes 20% profit. That could be brilliant, beyond your wildest dreams. It might be much less than you were hoping to make. So have that starting idea in your mind. Roughly what are you trying to achieve? Roughly what kind of time scale? That is your benchmark to see how it's performed against your expectations. Now you've made your profit. Excellent. That's what we try to do. If you sit on that investment and leave it for years and years to go, what happens? Well, maybe it keeps going, wonderful, or maybe it comes all the way back down or even lower than you started, and all that wonderful profit you thought you made gets frittered away. The key is to start thinking about how and when to deal with this. So your first part was your benchmark of targets. Secondly, it's then thinking about, do you cash it all in or do you cash in part of that money? Now, a lot of people like to boast about their successful investments. Oh, I invested in this wonderful business and made me lots of money, and then they ride their successful investments too far. When you've made a profit and you're thinking about cashing in, the first step is to look at, objectively as you can, what's coming next. So, do we think this company is still on a growth curve and there's lots more to be had, or has it already achieved much of what it was hoping to do? You've got to sit there and objectively say, is this still something to hold today, not just because it's made a profit or a loss to date, it's what's coming next. If you are not confident about the future, perhaps it's a full encashment, secure that profit, bank it. As I was always told, the first profit is the best profit. Once you've cashed it in, it's yours. It doesn't matter what happens to that company thereafter. If someone else makes another profit, good luck to them. It may have made money before you invested, it might make money after you invested. The key is if you made the profit that you were trying to achieve. Now, the other way to think about this is, what about cashing in some of your gains or some of your starting investment? Now, if you still think there's potential for further growth above what your target was, that's great. But do you need to keep the whole level of risk there? So you might want to cash in the profit. You started with your £100, it's now £120. Perhaps you take out that £20 profit, but ride the initial investment. That's a good option. Alternatively, cash in tranches. So let's say 25% or 50% at a time. Reduce your exposure so that you're not applying the same level of risk long term, especially if you've made some of those profits that you were initially trying to make. It's very, very easy to get caught up in the successful winners. The same can be the problem with losing investments, where people sit on them and won't sell because they're desperate to come back. You've just got to be objective. Is the investment you're sitting with today, no matter how long you've had it for, likely to keep going up in value? Is it a level of risk you're comfortable with? Or has it made the kind of profit you're targeting in a sensible time frame and time to cash it in?